You know what? I think they managed to finally get that debugging team on the staff, and I think they finally found the right inspiration to pull a 3D Sonic game out of their asses with.
Did they?
Yes, it is.
That's
Especially when we when we finally trek onto those new frontiers.
Look at it. We're finally doing it.
Yep.
Sonic Frontiers.
Sorry for the wait, everybody. We figured it wouldn't hurt to, let the game get all its DLC out before we, tackle it proper.
Yep.
It only seemed fair.
It was something that we wanted to wait for all the content, and honestly, I'm definitely glad we waited, especially after some of the quality of life stuff they added even before the story stuff. But yeah, this is the most recently released Sonic 3D game. And I'm just gonna double check. I'll take the shoes off for now.
Okay.
Even
Go
though
around
there are
barefoot.
a lot of fun bits.
You're gonna show those puppers,
Those bean
those
feet.
fucking barkers.
Well, look at some of them later.
Those dogs can keep on barking for all I care.
Those dogs are
Barking!
barking.
Anyway, so this is a game that I genuinely think, depending on what you were expecting from it, is a fantastic Sonic game. I was really hoping the background music would play a little bit longer than 15 seconds on this title screen, so I'm just gonna quickly explain what's going on. I'm gonna actually be doing a New Game Plus run to try and kind of streamline things a little bit. So just know going into this, I will have every skill and max stats, but there will still be plenty of content for us to explore. So.
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm curious how if I select the Final Frontier one.
Let's not do that right now, because I'm pretty sure that'll take us straight to the another story,
thing.
which that's well later on. That's going to be much later on in our playthrough.
Yep, and I will be doing this on hard because I do want the full story experience, for better or for worse.
Then you're going to be maxed out anyway. I think it only makes sense to make sure the enemies are beefed up slightly enough, even though they're, at least with the base game, they're really not that much of a threat.
Yeah, stay tuned. Let's learn the story as we know it. The story as we know it is, I believe this does still take place after Forces.
Yeah.
Yep, all said and done. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
I guess if it means anything, as far as Frontiers' story is concerned, all it really cares about is if you've had prior experience to it. At the very least, I mean, yeah, honestly, it expects you to have some prior knowledge of pretty much everything else that Sonic's been through in his career, which is both a benefit and a detriment to this game's plot.
I'll say, because don't you know, James, this is now officially the first mainline, I'll call it mainline, the first mainline Sonic game to be made with the newest staffing at Sega, a Sonic lore consultant.
Mm-hmm. They're actually going to give a shit about it now, after, many years of, just pretending it was just there. So, Eggman's recent plot has him hack into this unknown cyber world, with the help of this new AI he created named Sage.
We'll learn more about them later. For now,
Oh boy.
his presence has not gone unnoticed.
I introduce Kingdom Hearts.
Eh,
all coming online. The ancient secret.
Listen, someone had to make that joke.
I know, it does look like it. Uh-oh.
And if no one had to do it, it was going to be me.
I was gonna say, oh shit, we're playing Slender early. I thought we were waiting for the DLC to complete.
No, hon, you got that completely wrong. Slender has to be completely skinny. Those fuckers ain't skinny.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, my
Are you
flash
gonna-
drive got corrupted.
Whoop!
Do you think you can still strangle a Zeddy?
Maybe.
Well, do you see any Zeddy around?
I would love to see it.
Meanwhile, Sonic and friends have noticed the disturbances going on Starfall and decide to investigate.
Hey, blue rat fuck.
Hello, my friend.
With the biggest indifference ever.
Starfall Islands. How exciting!
Doesn't sound exciting.
You tracked the Chaos Emeralds here, right?
You don't sound excited, Amy.
Oh, Jesus,
Sonic
Sonic's
apparently hit
balls
you-
have dropped.
I was about to say,
About to make a- Go ahead.
I dropped some balls.
yeah.
It's better than my joke. My joke was gonna actually go for the childish man. His balls have dropped so hard they're messing with the plane's aerodynamics now.
More like
tilting.
his balls drop so low, he actually sounds like Roger, just Roger in general.
boy.
But
And
we can talk about how this game handles its VO practice later, as a disturbance has caused the tornado to go out of whack.
Just glide it. You don't have to. Not everything has to be energized. use the plane as a glider, and oh, that's new.
Oh.
I think Tails and Sonic are used to this. If we know anything about Sonic Rush
We
Adventure.
need to stop flying just a plain old plane. Oh.
And just like that, we're right smack dab into the action.
All right. Go ahead, Hype, and share your thoughts. All you gotta know is that it plays very similarly to Forces with a few nice tweaks.
Yep. So, I guess one thing I want to ask, like you guys mentioned quality of life changes. I don't remember if this is one of them or not, but I remember one thing that annoyed people at launch is that, first off, would you mind pausing the game for a second? And going to options?
Yes.
So if you scroll down a bit, there's a surprising amount of customization options for how you want Sonic to control. And I remember one thing that bugged a lot of people when the game was first released is that all of these, like, little fancy controls, these, like, tinkering with the controls, they apparently didn't apply to the cyberspace levels. They had, like, fixed controls, and I want to know if one of the QOL improvements touched upon that.
Yes and no. Basically, in the matter of, like, honestly, it's something we can get into later on, but for now, like, as Hype said, when you're in the cyberspace levels, the controls are more or less fixed, and that's pretty much something you're unfortunately going to have to deal with unless you go into the game's, like, post-game content.
It's primarily meant because as you're gonna learn, like, because what you're gonna learn is that while we're in these cyberspace levels, this is like the more like focused. These are meant to be the more focused, like, linear experiences. Oh no, you don't.
Get that red ring?
Yep, we're gonna want to get
really
it.
want that red ring now, don't you?
Yeah,
buddy?
if you're gonna do these cyberspace levels, definitely prioritize the red rings if you can.
Yep.
Honestly, prioritize.
I'd
Honestly,
say so, yeah.
there's a handful of things you need to do while you're in cyberspace, for better and for worse. You need to get all the red rings. You need to collect a certain amount of rings, beat it within a certain amount of time. Am I forgetting anything, Doug?
I think that's it. It's just those big 3 achievements, and depending on the cyber chase on the cyber level, it's actually not that hard to get all of them in one run.
Yeah, there I messed up a
and
couple
rings.
times. So, yeah, let
Well,
me
do
try
we
one
wanna
more
try
time.
again?
See,
Okay.
I'll try one more time. I'll try one more time, just going for straight up speed. Because thankfully, you do not have to do all of them in one clean like sweep.
Good.
Not gonna lie, I almost forgot about the fucking rings. I just plain out forgot there were requirements in the fucking cyberspace levels, because at the time of this recording, I did play this a month ago, and I just completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, we could just say it outright. Well, I mean, we're pretty much echoing to Acquire at this point. The cyberspace levels are definitely some of the weaker elements of Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
They're the weakest of the game's portion, in my opinion.
Like, it definitely screams like forced in just to fulfill a mandate by Sega.
Yeah.
And it. That should be an S rank, I think.
That should.
That's below 45.
And you got 110
Yep,
rings. Oh, wait, you were supposed to get 150.
I know. I don't care. Everybody, that's it. Yay! Let's move forward. Let's hear what happens after we leave and escape.
Let's hope that won't bite us in the butt later. Because one thing worth noting when you're going through cyberspace is that you collect a whole bunch of these keys, and you get more of them if you could clear all of the criteria.
So I'll do what I can.
Yep.
But fortunately, they are not all needed. And by the last world, they're practically optional. Especially when you start learning how to fish. That'll be later. You alright, dude?
No, he's
I mean,
not.
sleeping in the rain for so long will definitely do it to you.
Man, definitely feels like Scotland.
Oh, damn. Now this weather's got me feeling all gloomy.
You're
Wouldn't
welcome.
it be kind of weird?
I mean, I live in freaking Gotham City. For
Man,
fuck's
wouldn't it
sake.
be something else if this is like another Sonic game where, like, you pretty much have to go through while he's suffering a cold?
I thought you were about to say, wouldn't it be something if Sonic went to Scotland? And just...
I mean, who's to say he hasn't already?
I would shoot the bastard.
Oh, that's so nice.
Huh? Sure beats being called a rodent. Are you saying I can rescue my friends?
Find the chaos
No, rat.
emeralds. Destroy the titans. Tear down the walls between dimensions.
Always gotta love the tapping. Okay. can we
Oh,
hurry
don't
up?
be impatient, you little
Yeah,
shit
okay, sure.
hog.
How about a little context? Hello?
I mean, to be fair, if I was in this position, I'd be a little, impatient about the,
Oh.
the vague wording and everything.
Some direction is better than none.
Oh yeah, of
Here we
course.
go.
And welcome everybody to the open zone.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Map's almost the size of Hyrule Breath of the Wild. Only now you get to control a super fast blue hedgehog, and you can travel through it in half the time. And I'll say, you know what? I'll just go ahead and say this right now. Logan's primarily going to be doing this one because not going to mince words. He's definitely a lot more. Not so much. Okay, that's not the word I would say. I would say he's a lot. He likes this game a lot more than I do because I personally think it serves as a fantastic foundation, and I want them to keep going forward with it. But as it stands, I think as a game, it's honestly not too dissimilar to my feelings over. I wouldn't say Lost World. It's like it feels like a game that I guess I'm more so like Sonic Heroes, where the foundation is great, but there's a lot that needs to be done to make it as good as it possibly could have been. It can be later.
I think that's fair. The idea is that, like, again, like, the framework is there that they could make a great game out of this. They just need more time to refine what they're doing.
Refine and remove some of the more stupider aspects of this game.
Fair. That's a cute little heart.
Adorable. I'm sure we're not going to need like a whole 100 of those throughout the course of the game.
So, all you need to know about the... I'm okay. So right away,
he does it there, Sonic.
So right,
Are you sure?
yes, I'm totally fine. Yeah. So right away, things like that, I love. I love the openness of how you can explore, especially when we get certain tweaks. We're gonna be looking for a lot of little MacGuffins out in the. Yes, thank you. We're gonna be looking for a lot of MacGuffins out in the open zone, which is what I would say makes up at least. Oh, I guess I do.
Yeah, sorry, Logan, but you're gonna have to learn how to be a Sonic.
All right, thank you. I now know how to homing attack. It's not like I did that 3 times already.
Actually, speaking of which, the homing attack works slightly differently here than it did in past games, because they went back to the Unleash method of mapping it to the square button in the PS5's case. And what's funny is that, like, you can activate that even when you're standing still. Like, if there's an enemy nearby, you just automatically launch right near that enemy.
But thank goodness, to counteract one of my least favorite parts of Unleashed, your air dash is not also the square button. Your air dash is now mapped to the right trigger.
Yep. Which is honestly nice. Something I'll admit it was one of those things I had to get used to, but honestly it didn't take that long. And honestly it does feel like a natural fit, even though the boost or air dash or whatever, like anything attached to the R2 button, unless you're powered up Sonic fully, it definitely feels like a huge step back from past boost era games.
Which, hey, since I am fully powered up Sonic, we'll be able to actually see, all of the perks that come with it. Because I would also say combat, probably got the most beefed up combat we've had for a daytime Sonic that is not a werehog.
Kinda, sorta. I'd honestly say that's another weak spot I'd say with Sonic Frontiers in general, is that it tries really hard to have its cake and eat it too with its combat. And I mean, it is definitely I don't even know if I'd say it's on par with the Werehog, because at least the Werehog had, like, multiple sorts of combos and everything, whereas here it's like, you still rapidly press the square button hoping for immediate results.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Oh, hey, look, our first mid-boss.
A ninja.
So, I guess
That's
while I
not
get
a
ready to
ninja.
start... It's not a ninja, where's blue hair? See, I just stomp on his head and he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at
Stupid
that.
fuck.
And
So this is what this... Go ahead.
You go ahead. You're the one hosting this.
So this is now one of the big things we want to look for in the overworld is, sure, the cyberspace levels can provide you keys, which we will learn more about how important those are later, but in order to access a cyberspace level, you're going to need portal gears and a certain number of them. In order to accomplish that, defeat some mini-bosses in the overworld and, solve some precariously dangerous puzzles, and that'll be your main... So already that's kind of our main loop. The keys are the final MacGuffin we really want to collect, in addition to, finding some cute little character hearts somewhere, and portal gears in order to keep the fun times rolling.
In a matter of speaking, though, I guess that is one thing I'll definitely say right now as far as that's concerned, like with the whole purpose of the portal gears. It does sort of lead to this whole, sort of gameplay loop where, like, not even just enemies, like, you'll sometimes come across, like, as Logan said, like, mini-bosses, like, not even, like, sometimes even much bigger than what we just dealt with a ninja there. And something I do find a little... I don't know how to properly explain it. It's like... it honestly feels like a gameplay loop that is fine the first time, but afterwards you kind of just don't want to deal with anymore. And I feel like they could have better handled that in such a way where, like, maybe instead of these gears that are required to open up these portals to cyberspace, maybe the key to them is just beating that boss, period. And then once it's down for the count, like, you never see it again, that's what that opens up that could open up the cyberspace portal.
Yeah, I forget if there is a Blood Moon system or if
there is.
Good. Oh, okay.
This game has a Blood Moon system in the form of Starfall, pretty much the Starfall, because we're on Starfall Islands. It does do something else that we can bring up another time, but it primarily is there to respawn enemies, for whatever that means.
Yep.
This also includes boss fights.
We just learned Psy Loop, which is super important for engaging and interacting with things in this overworld, as well as stunning enemies.
I mean, gameplay-wise, it's pretty much this game's primary mechanic.
Yep.
And, you know, you can make funny art, like the funny Among Us, or...
Don't tempt him, Sammy.
I was close. Hang on, I got this.
Christ.
You just had to say the magic word, and he's already gone to it. Though, you know what?
He didn't do the last one I said.
I mean, hey, look at it this way. That very crude imposter there did give Logan infinite boost.
Yep. And I can get a butt ton of rings, too, which is very handy. If you want to do the Lightspeed dash, you have to press in the left analog stick. It's a little tricky, but you'll get it. You'll get the hang of it.
I mean, hey, it's nice to have it on, like, you have it at all times.
And boop. There, that puzzle. So, we're kind of, I mean, the tutorial, I think, does a decent enough job of, like, showing off what we're going to be looking to do. As you see there, the way they handle revealing the map in this game is that, as opposed to, like, a big map tower, more so, if you ever find a puzzle that has the letter M in front of it, completing that puzzle will reveal more of the map to you.
Yeah, which, I mean, I don't mind that, personally speaking. Like, I can definitely agree that, you know, most, if not all, the puzzles in the base game are pretty brain dead. But other than that, I don't mind the idea of, like, you find them, clear them out, and that clears, you know, opens up more than that. I think that's pretty, you know, nice in a way.
Yeah. Oh, more enemies.
And hey, if it makes anything, a post-launch update that they did release will more or less make up for that lack of challenge.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Stay tuned for that bit.
Yeah. But otherwise, you know, you still got your regular fodder who, like, they're honestly not too bad now. They get more annoying in later portions of the island.
Yep, I'm gonna do this. Come on.
Or, excuse me, later islands, because technically the Starfall Islands is comprised of multiple islands. It's kind of like Insanity Island, only nowhere near as nuts.
Uh-oh.
He got wet.
Alright, thanks for joining.
Alright, then video ends here now. Okay. Thankfully, the game auto-saves quite regularly.
To a degree. Sometimes it auto-saves when it absolutely needs to, and then other times it, you know, takes its sweet-ass time to, autosave to a point where, like, say if you died after clearing, like, a map challenge, for example, but the autosave didn't kick in, you're gonna have to do that map challenge again.
Oh, dang.
Also, that thing that Logan picked up earlier, that orange note there, is actually something that came with the game's post-launch. Sound memories, which allows you to change what you can hear while you're traveling on the map.
I like them, but I don't think I'm gonna be using them too often. Maybe if I'm, like, messing around, like, and really needing to, like,
Grind?
You know, yeah, which I hopefully will not need to do, but it is nice. It's a butt ton of, like, Sonic's older tracks and things.
It definitely livens things up, because, like, not to say it's a bad thing, but most, like, you know, primarily traveling through the Starfall Islands, it's probably some of the moodiest stuff you'll ever hear in the series.
Well, we could talk about that a little bit. You know, okay, how about this? Hype, tell us, like, what has been one of the big things about this game's story in particular?
Well, one thing that it really does kind of feel like the more that we get used to it, the more it's starting to come across as like a monkey's paw to a lot of people. This is the first game in the series that actually brought over the Sonic comic writer Ian Flynn to help with the localization for the game's story.
And not going to mince words, like, I think it's honestly, I'd say, I mean, I'm not going to say it was entirely thanks to him, but I definitely think it helps making this easily one of the best stories in the series so far.
I think so. I think the character moments are among the best. And I mean, one character in particular is a little bit trickier, but I think Ian did the best he could to try and make sense of what the franchise was doing with that character.
Right,
so,
because
go ahead.
Because that's the one thing that I have to bring up when it comes to Ian, and I guess it is technically sort of related to that monkey's paw comment I mentioned earlier. Even though Ian's involvement in this is pretty notable, his involvement in the writing is honestly not too different from the much behated Pontaff from Colors and Onwards, where it's he didn't make the base story itself. He just handled a lot of the dialogue for the American region.
Yeah, I don't know. At the very least, I really do strongly hope they allow him to continue working with this franchise, because clearly the man loves it a lot more than some of the senior staff.
Oh boy. So she asked for more gears. We're about to serve her some through this bastard right here, the tower.
Okay, give me a second. This will be.
Now, I mean, look at this thing and how it tries to fight against you. I mean, looks pretty cool. But imagine having, say, if there's really no other way to get the portal gears, imagine having to fight creatures like this guy over and over again.
Yeah,
doesn't that sound kind of tedious after a while?
It can take a bit. Oh, no, yeah.
Also,
And dead.
Bam.
Thank you, New Game Plus. It'll make us a little bit faster.
Yep.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd... Remember back in Sonic 06 where Shadow's primary means of combat was to literally homing attack and then start, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am on every enemy it comes across? Mm-hmm. Sonic 4, at his base stats, that's pretty much all Sonic can do to take these enemies down. But the further along the game you go, as well as also gathering those little blue chips that access experience, that's how you're able to get more abilities to help, even out the odds.
And I think that is... Oh boy, by the way, really quick. There's going to be a lot of really quick things. It's Sonic.
There's a lot to process.
Welcome to one of the steepest jumps in difficulty for anybody who's just trying this game out casually. If they want to go for everything, 1-2.
Yeah.
Which is a fun little... Which I will say is a fun little tidbit. Supposedly, the developers of this game were tasked with... They were tasked with examining previous Sonic levels as their homework as to how to design these 3 stages. So we're not going to call it out every single time it happens, but eager-eyed people may notice some very familiar they may notice some familiar level geometry and level designs.
Yeah, even though most of it is pretty much coated under the guise of either Green Hill, Sky Sanctuary. What are the other ones?
Chemical
Plant, and the only original location that they actually include, like a cityscape. It almost looks like Cityscape, but it's actually not. It's weird.
Just any type of
Whoops!
city.
Okay.
Jeez, you lucked out there,
Any
pal.
type of city faced with for that one.
Right, Cityscape, Speed Highway, Estopolis, you name it.
Yeah.
More to you.
There you go. Come on.
I definitely remember playing this for the first time, and it's the level itself isn't really that bad. It's just the steep requirements they expect out of you to actually get a gold on all marks. Getting ES rank, getting all the rings, getting the red rings, and just beating the level in general.
Because I'll tell you right now, that was absolutely not an S rank time. That was far from it.
That was definitely not us.
That was a C.
Okay, no, I gotta go
failed.
for...
Go back to class.
Okay,
Go back to school.
I gotta at least try and get an A. Let's go.
I think we should, for these levels, we should at least do a whole 3 strikes rule, because we don't want to spend all of our time just doing these levels. Because God, some of them can get some of them aren't that long at all, but then there's others that can go on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
That is fair.
Especially the later content ones, but we'll get to that when we can.
Now, when you say later content ones, you mean the main game or another story?
The other story.
Truth be told, I haven't touched any of them, even though I'm aware. All I'm aware of
right
is
now,
that
some of them can be long depending on what you're going for.
That's fair. All I'm really aware of with the cyberspace challenges in another story is that they just they don't even have new music per se. They just remix some pre-existing ones.
From what I've heard, they basically did.
Got it.
Sweet. Will that be enough?
By the skin of my teeth, I got the last 2.
Damn, nice job.
There you go.
And there you go. Since we cleared all 4 missions, we'll get additional keys on top of what we already got.
Yahoo! Let's go.
It's a beautiful thing when you can do it right, but man, does it kind of not make up for how dull a good, or just outright, yeah, I guess dull would be the right word, a good handful of these challenges are.
Again, it would be nice for a little bit more visual variety, but you'll kind of get that with the open
I mean,
zone.
my problem with my problem with them isn't even in the challenge department. It's the variety department. I just say it's more like the biggest problem with them is just how Sonic controls in them. Like it feels unnaturally nerfed.
So, I mean, so right away, I guess, first hot take, would you honestly think that it would have been better if they just didn't bother with the cyberspace and just put full momentum into the open zone and making more challenges in that?
More or less, yeah. I mean, if they absolutely need to do the challenge stuff, like the cyberspace challenges that badly, like, I don't think nerfing Sonic's momentum should have been, I don't know. It's one of those things where don't change Sonic's controls for the sake of these challenges, because I feel like, I mean, I'd say, there's some things that they could still fix here and there, but I'd still say this is one of the better controlling Sonics in a while.
I think, no, yeah, it is, again, especially with the momentum tweaks that I've made, which you may have already, which I'm not going to go back to, but if you go back, if you see the footage when I was showing off the settings, you can see what I chose. It allows me to, do a lot of fun things like that. I very much enjoy these tweaks and things, which it is worth noting that I also find it very interesting that they did this because for the longest time, it was a fan patch for the Steam version of the game that had allowed Sonic to do this. Hello, little guys.
Cute.
A Koco.
Yes, the denizens of Starfall Isles, the Koco. They're very small, they're very cute. They're a progenitor of everyone's favorite, water babies in the series. And if you collect, the game does want you to collect a certain amount of them if you want to power up Sonic.
Yep. And the big thing we need is to power up Sonic. What are these doing here?
The Chaos Emeralds. Actually, that's the reason why they came here, because the Chaos Emeralds have been drawn to these islands, almost as if they were destined to be here. So Sonic and team came to investigate, and, well, you saw what happened earlier. They got Rush Adventured.
Alright.
Except they're not in another dimension. They're still back on Earth.
We'll have to find them all, but that's your main MacGuffin in the open zone. You need to find all 7 Chaos Emeralds.
Yep, and I mean...
Go ahead.
That's pretty much the MacGuffin of every Sonic game, I would say.
That is fair.
I mean, the way Frontiers handled is honestly pretty interesting, is that, in every single area in the game, I guess this is kind of a minor spoiler here, but let's just say that collecting Chaos Emeralds is kind of just going to be our bread and butter throughout the whole thing, it's one of those things where you're actually going to have to do more than once.
But I like that, especially since it hasn't been since Unleashed. Yep, there you go. Welcome
Congratulations! You can play the game now!
Alright, everybody, welcome to... No. Everybody, no. Everybody, no. God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, my lord. Welcome, everybody, to our first island, Kronos. It's not a very long, it's not a very big map. You can kind of already see everything we can do right now.
Well,
all
Logan,
over there, we won't be going too much later. Yes?
I was about to say, correction. It's probably the biggest island in the whole game, but you're only sectioned off to the first third of it.
True. The other 2/3 are over there, and we won't go there for a long while.
A force field of plot inconvenience will stand in your way.
Curses. But in any case, where was I going with this? We mentioned the I was saying it hasn't been since Unleashed that there's been much plot significance around the Chaos Emeralds. Like for the longest time, Sonic kind of the more modern Sonic games kind of more treated them just off on the side. Forces forgot about it. Generations, again, you could unlock it, but that didn't really mean much.
Well, Generations, they were still important to the plot, but it's also one of those things where, the modern games in general, we're trying to veer back from, much like how, how do I put this? During the whole, adventure era for Sonic, for lack of a better word, that's pretty much where the Chaos Emeralds were treated almost always as the Deus Ex Machina of the series. And, they kind of wanted to avoid that, treat it more like how the Genesis games did, where it was something you can get but weren't required to beat the game. Whereas, I mean, now we got Sonic Frontiers where they're back to being the Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
But I mean, I'd say it's been long enough. I don't think there's really any harm doing it again.
No, as opposed to previous ones, there we go. As opposed to previous games, this game goes whole hog into the Chaos Emeralds, and with good reason.
Yes. So, while Logan's, roaming around the island here, slugging every single not badnik all across these places, uh-oh, you're doing this now?
Oh,
I completely forgot what these were. Oh, thank goodness, Asura is here to kill me.
The tower. Right. I mean, you can exit it now if you want to.
How do you do that? Do you just pause?
Just pause.
Oh.
Okay, so we should talk about the Action Chain Challenge real quick. That was something that came with the second update to Sonic Frontiers, where there were 10 of them found across every island in the game. And if you beat them all with an S rank...
Except for the fourth one.
Right, except for the fourth one. There's a reason for that. But if you clear all 10 of them in the first 3 and the final island, and if you manage to get an S rank on them, doesn't even matter what difficulty you're on. Like, if you just beat them in general with an S rank, you get probably the best thing Sonic has in this game.
Which I already have. Thank goodness.
Technically you do. The age-old spin dash. Of course, now wouldn't be the best time to really show it off, because we're fighting in a literal tower.
Yep. Thank you.
But yeah, no, it's like this thing's really cool and all.
You mean Asura?
Asura, thank you. Well, I mean, it looks very tower-like, don't it?
Oh, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, it does look like it, but it's not the official name.
Right, there's already another one called the Tower, which we already dealt with, but regardless,
thank you.
Oh yeah, that's right, right. Sonic can also wall climb now with his newfound powers.
You thought you had gotten rid of me.
I thought you died! Yes, but I lived!
Actually,
But I lived, bitch.
Actually, quick tip with that boss fight. If you actually side loop both of the feet, you can actually get more gears.
Oh, okay. I will try that on the next one, because I think there is another one further down.
Because that was literally the first thing I did when I booted up the game for the first time.
Another cool thing you can do is...
Assuming you give it a chance to. Sonic can parry just about anything.
Ow.
Mm-hmm.
By doing this!
He can even hold himself in midair and do it, which is already a perversion of physics, but I mean, this is Sonic we're talking about.
I will 100% do this later. I can do quick side loop. The hell? That didn't do nothing.
I mean, you can just side loop. That is odd, yeah. Like, just a regular old side loop should be enough to, launch the shield upwards and, allow you to attack him.
Ah, well, we'll just keep moving.
Well, no matter.
Okay, so let me get over there. Missed!
Whiffed!
I think there was a spring for that.
There most likely was. Sure was. Whee.
There you go.
If there's a platform out in the distance, you're likely going to want to. There's likely a spring that's destined to take you there.
So before I go into this next before I go into this next cutscene, Sammy, I mean, so right away, what were your thoughts on first seeing it for the first time?
I will admit, when I saw, the IGN demo, I was like, oh god, this is gonna be a fucking disaster. This does not look fucking good.
It was a terrible first impression.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. And then, when I did actually, see it legitimately, I'm like, okay, I get where it's kind of going. Still a little bizarre, but I get where it's going, at least.
Yeah.
Mostly because I was watching through, Doug's playing of the game.
Not a bad person to watch. He knows his crap around this game.
Say whatever you will about Sonic games. They're honestly some of the best games you can watch when they're handled by professionals.
That's just begging to be climbed. Imagine the view.
Damn, you got called
Later.
a professional, hun. How do you feel about that?
That's a purple coin.
Yeah, I was about to say, being called a professional, though, now that's just too kind, good sir.
Aww.
I mean, I'm speaking as a fellow professional just like you.
Oh my lord!
And just wait until I do my professionalism once we get the shadow. More on that later.
I found this one too early.
Don't you just love happy accidents like this?
This is one of the special Koco I forget what he does, but basically throughout the area, you will start to find challenges that were also released with this game when it came out with this momentum update. Because now that you can actually do some wild things, again, the developers have been really actually pretty cool about the little like fun oddities in this game. So when it was found out that you could do some of these things, they actually designed challenges around it. Like, I don't know, like it's something where like, whereas earlier Sonic team would have probably, canceled a game or, patched out certain things, they realized, hey, no, this is fun. Let's let them have fun.
I mean, they pretty much took the Odyssey approach, where like if it looks like something where like they reward players for actually going out of the way to try something silly to reach that area, and
Right.
you get reward for your troubles, even if it's something pretty minor at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm aware, the big Koco there that you collected, I guess they're called like the special challenge Koco or whatever, I'm not sure. But basically you take them to another like special figure somewhere across the island, and he, whatever they are, will increase they'll pretty much give you an additional, notice right now that like, as Logan is boosting right now, and spin dashing, like so, it does run under a meter. And, this current meter is not currently finished. That's because, you only have like one. Actually, no, wait, never mind. It looks like you have, like, all 3 wheels, but basically,
I did it all.
like...
I remember collecting them all before I went to New Game Plus.
Gotcha. Well, long story short is that you can add more wheels like you can in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom if you bring those bigger Koco to the Elder.
Yep.
Yep.
And if I want to do spin dashing, which I've learned now, a big perk of spin dashing, is that it allows you to pretty much ignore a lot of, like, traction and physics when going uphill and stuff.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, the spin dash is just pretty much the powered up boost that you get if you max out all your rings or you max out your speed stat and just condense it into a ball. Like the classics.
Yep. Anyway, let's get on with some plot here, which is that if we approach this weird looking box...
Amy, is that you?
Uh-oh.
This has become the fate of Sonic's friends as they enter cyberspace.
Help me!
Hang on.
Terminally
Messing
online.
with the ruins will fix things.
No! Well... I mean, we could just talk to her. That could also probably work. Woo, look at that!
Thankfully, we have all the tokens we need to free her. So, what were your thoughts about Amy being the first friend you need to free in the game?
I think it make. I mean, she's how to put this? I mean,
normally this would be around the time you'd like if you're gonna free one friend first, it'd normally be Tails, but not this time around.
I think knowing the timing, I can see it working. Tails ends up being the last one you save, so for some significance, maybe there's that. I think maybe the idea here is that as we're gonna start seeing, while we're trying to save them from the dimension they're locked in, we're also helping them with their
Actually, it's
own,
not even so much like it's honestly what they're going through is kind of complicated. It's like they're stuck in a cyberspace like limbo, where like they're in cyberspace, but they're also in the real world as well.
True. Also, we got a new.
Yeah.
They're like a ghost.
Be empowered with this technique.
In a way.
It's already empowered. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think it makes sense. I would say arguably maybe because what Amy is going through, hers, the problem that we're helping her that she has with herself, because as we're going to be helping our friends escape their imprisonment, we're also helping them deal with their own like either self-esteem or inner conflict. I feel like maybe the reason we start with Amy is because hers is the most direct or simple to address.
I mean, it does. I guess it does comply with something that she'll be doing all across the island. In that, well, as we go, basically, there's going to be this whole sub arc that we're going to be going through, where she's helping out. She's essentially looking out for the Koco, and there's a specific type in particular that resonates similarly with her, or just resonates with something she's very passionate about.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yep.
Hi, how do you think Amy was portrayed? I mean, I believe you met with the actress recently. How do you feel she was portrayed in this game?
Well, I mean, like, when I say met, it was mostly just at a digital convention panel. She was really nice, by the way. Answered a really amusing question I could probably talk about some other time. But as far as, like, Amy goes here, And honestly, I'll kind of lobby this with my thoughts on, like, the voice work in general. Like, this is probably, like, the most somber that the voice direction has had in a while, which I imagine for some people that are, like, unapologetically spiteful towards how the games have been up to this point will probably like, relish in how, like, somber it is. I think it's thematically appropriate, but I also feel like it also kind of, like, dulls their deliveries, like, a bit. Like, we made jokes about, like, Sonic sounding much deeper than he usually does, which is funny, because Roger's Sonic has already been criticized for being plenty deep as it is. With Amy, though, like, we got a bit of it during that one cutscene when they're in the tornado. I feel like the more somber direction also kind of makes her delivery sound a little dull, too.
It should be noted that when Roger was doing the voice in this, even he was surprised by how deep that they actually that they told him to play Sonic.
I remember. Yep. I do remember seeing the bit of that whole like interview.
No, lower.
Just like lower. It's like.
It's over, Egghead. There it is. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, god dang it. Even after all that, I was 15 milliseconds off. I could have...
Damn!
If I didn't mess up on that... Okay, we're going back. I'm that's easy.
That's a matter of pride now.
and that's a super easy... Like, you saw... I did a full stop reversal go backwards thing, and I still, like...
Literally.
And I still... That's... Again, that's the weird thing, is that you saw 1-2, and this is 1-3. I would argue the freaking... The speed up, the S rank times to beat are very inconsistent in terms of
sometimes sometimes they're incredibly generous, other times they're ball-bustingly like strict.
Yeah. I think they're just the unbalanced ranks in general in the whole series at the moment.
Kind of, yeah.
Now I'm gonna try this though. I'm gonna start doing some spin dashes because I believe since I was spin dashing now, we'll see here.
The game will probably mark that you did it.
No, actually it doesn't. Nope. Maybe it's because I'm on the leaderboards, but normally what would happen is that if you were to do a spin dash, it would put an asterisk to note that you totally did that.
That you totally cheated.
Not cheated.
Listen, the game's already aware of that one exploit that you could do involving the homing attack.
I love the homing boost. That was my thing.
Yeah, that was your thing, and the game, like the developers finally caught on to that tactic, and again, they're not shaming you for doing it, except they totally are because they put in that asterisk now.
If I remember, they also did that for the cyberspace challenges from the first update.
Gotcha.
I did try. I looked into those. I did consider it, but like some of those those challenges are actually really like strict, like. The marathon you need to do, and I forgot what. Oh, hang on, a little intermission.
Oh, hey, Eggman.
I got stuck in a Tetris Effect background or something. Where is this?
Man.
All things considered, this place looks wicked sick. But how do I even travel across any of this?
Similar constructs in my own systems, but this is markedly more advanced.
Ooh. Dude. That was a button?
Don't admit that to anyone.
Classic.
His nipples are buttons the entire time?
Yes. They've been buttons since... I want to say since Lost World, like, they've had, like, multiple types of functions. Like, he could...
yeah, they have.
Like, he can form a jet... Like, he can, like, literally let out a jetpack with one of them. And there's one that right there is, like, a recorder.
And,
I'm sorry, that part of Eggman doing that is just fucking humorous to me.
No,
especially with his giant fucking hands.
As always, I think Eggman is one of the best parts of this, and I think Ian knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Eggman is definitely one of the best parts of this game's narrative. Unfortunately, most of that is honestly something you're not really going to see in the like during the course of the story.
No, it's kind of optional unless you miss it. Oh, I gotta get all the way over there.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Howdy. What am I to do?
Just spin dash.
Oh no, what am I supposed to do?
Ooh, okay, maybe not dash that. Just imagine that for a moment. Like Sonic spin dashes, completely misses the thing, does a whole lap around the Earth, then suddenly makes it back to the that platform on time.
Wow, and with still 15...
Sonic, wait! No, you're going off course!
Wow, and still with 15 seconds to beat the 1-3 S rank time. Alright.
Actually, speaking of which, I think you literally are standing right next to one of those wheel thingies.
This is easy.
Be a hamster.
This is just meant to see, like, This is just meant to check how much boost rank and how much speed you have. Like that's ridiculous. That's easy.
Even then, I think the base amount of boost you have should be enough to clear it.
I mean,
Assuming,
yeah,
of course, you haven't been
one.
reckless with it.
Fair. I mean, that is the first one. Fair enough. These little things I've been finding every so often, those normally would be used to upgrade your attack. Like, if you find a red, spiky, pointy heart, that's meant to be used to that's meant to be used to upgrade your attack power. But I don't need that attack power because I'm.
That's another action challenge, Logan.
That's another action chain.
God dang it!
Listen,
Get out of it.
Listen, it's man. I'm not gonna mince
Okay.
words. Like, I'm not gonna mince words. Like, they're not a terrible like gimmick by themselves, but it's also one of those things where like they expect you to do them so fucking much, and you have to do it a specific way, especially if you want to earn the right to spin dash.
But now,
Yeah.
since I have this, I mean, I'll show it off like maybe once. But since I already have spin dash, there's no pressure on me to do that.
I'd say wait till post game.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Give me a second here, but yeah, normally.
Yeah, I'd say post game is more appropriate.
Yeah, normally what would happen? Dang it. Normally what would happen is normally what would happen is that you would need to thank you. You would either need to acquire those little goodies to upgrade your attack and defense. As far as what defense is used for in this game, it's basically like, hey, how many rings will you save after getting hit? Because, oh my gosh, they actually kept something from Shadow the Hedgehog that I thought was actually a pretty decent idea. You don't lose all your rings on hit.
That does honestly lead to something else I find a little dumb about this game's overall design. But not so much the defense, like adding in the whole, improving your defense and whatnot. I mean, that's not a bad thing in the long run. I think it's honestly pretty nice. One of the other things that you can upgrade is your ring capacity, and it's admittedly something I don't really think was necessary because, like, I think by default you can store up to like maybe 300, 400 rings.
Yes.
And if you do manage to max out on your rings before, like, all your stats are maxed out and whatnot, Sonic undergoes this boosted state. You can get a little, a little, like, cutscene showcasing he's, powered up, like he did in the movie. But, so basically, once you're fully powered up, like, when you grab, max rings, you power up yourself up, your boost is much better. But that being said, you can still lose that if you lose any more of your rings. And on top of that, like, say if you start maxing out your ring counter, it's gonna make it harder for you to get yourself boosted up.
Yeah. I would.
The long and the short of it is that the ring counter like thing is completely and utterly pointless in my opinion.
It's definitely, I would say, a noob trap to go for upgrading your rings first. I would say upgrading your rings should be the last thing you upgrade.
And heaven forbid you've been doing that pre post launch update.
Oh yeah, now you don't even need that. And there we go. Now I'll get 3 gears, so the price of
Since
one.
we're not only playing on new game, like we're doing this like a year after the game's out, but we're doing a new game plus file. You're not going to see us subject ourselves to the tedium that was trying to meticulously upgrade your speed and your ring count.
That fucking irritated me.
It was pain. Like, say if you're especially low, but you had a lot of Koco left to spread, that could take up to maybe like a half hour just to fully max yourself out.
Depending around a half hour, yeah. I had to do that twice on both PC and PS5.
I know the feeling.
Lord.
Why PS5? Because that's around the time when I got my PS5.
I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with double dipping if you like a game that much.
Oh,
I mean,
they don't.
whatever stats I can give to Sonic Frontiers, I did honestly up and get. Like, I originally got this on Xbox Series X, but I eventually did also get it on Steam because I figured, why the hell not? And I mean, I have no regrets.
Yeah.
Phew.
And he's down again.
Hey, 3 gears.
Yeah.
But hey, look, I just realized something. It was oddly convenient we fought him in that specific spot. Did you notice that particular vessel over there that belongs to a certain egghead we know?
Oh no.
Eggman tech. Seems abandoned, though. Still, I better keep on my toes.
I mean, I
So
think
yeah, I mean, this is essentially Sonic's clue that, the egghead's been here. So, I mean, coming here was a good idea after all.
you just never knew when to quit.
It's almost like we're destined to cross paths at every turn.
He sniffs the air, and he always senses a hard-boiled egg.
Deviled eggs.
Oh yeah, for what it's worth, this game also has a day and night cycle.
Yeah, and some challenges are locked to nighttime, which you can't control the time of day in this game. So if you're here in broad daylight, hope you got some tunes to listen to in the meantime.
So while I do some more of this, Hype, what did you think of the game's decision to go for open zone?
Bless you.
Bless you.
That is, oh boy.
I'm okay. Don't worry. Continue.
So much power, unregulated.
But yeah,
Don't
like,
mind me.
I'm not against the idea of like a more open-ended Sonic like what this did, but I'd be lying in that, like, honestly, I'm just gonna go ahead and give out a bit of a disclaimer, like, for the rest of this preview. Like, I know me saying stupid things is kind of a regular occurrence, but this playthrough is gonna be especially filled with me saying stupid things, because even though I do appreciate, like, the intentions behind a lot of what Frontiers tries to do, like there definitely is, like, a sincerity to some of its decisions, I'd be lying if I said I fully agree with, like, a handful of those decisions, and a lot of it does kind of have to correlate with the open world, like in terms of, like, mechanically, it's fine, you know, like, running around is, you know, perfectly fine. The challenges, as brained as they are, they serve their purpose fine. Like, it is a bit on the nose where where its inspiration comes from, but, like, again, like, it's mechanically fine. My problem is that, like, maybe it's because What's up?
I was rushing. I'm okay. Got it.
Okay.
Anyway.
My problem is that, like, maybe I just have, like, the wrong mindset nowadays when it comes to Sonic, but I feel like, kind of like a reversal of what you guys thought of, like, the Cyber Chase levels, I feel like after a while, the open world, like, outside of, like, important story beats that we need to get to, the open world just kind of loses a lot of its luster after you play the game for a while.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Fair.
Yeah, okay, fair.
I definitely think if they're going to be tackling this gameplay style again, they definitely should strive for more visual, like regional diversity.
I mean, it's
like,
not that bad. It's not like we have to. Yeah.
Like we're off to a pretty alright start. Like, we got a typical grasslands.
Where the fuck is it?
I heard the
Oh,
music.
it's right
there. It is.
I'm actually surprised. Did they patch out the squid?
No, he's still here.
No,
I think
yeah,
it was like the
I
jump
mean,
scare screen.
No, it's still there. He just didn't get close enough to do it.
Okay. Face
Yeah, I
me.
can fade any music, but
Face
yeah,
me,
no.
Squid.
Yeah, no, he didn't
Actually,
do it. I think he's actually scared.
Huh. You know what? Maybe that's something they changed for new game. Well, then again, no. We saw the intros for the other enemies.
Maybe because
So
I
I
was
guess-
just in the wrong place. I don't know.
Or maybe
I mean,
not close
I mean,
enough to it.
I mean, I'll accept it. I don't want to deal with the freaking jump scare today. That's why I'm going to kill him
Aw.
right now.
Sorry, Squid. You've been denied your privileges of an intro.
Dang. Hey, no, don't you get back here.
Dude.
Boy, wouldn't that suck if you fought this thing in like literally above the ocean?
Oh.
That would very much suck.
Yeah.
But thank God they don't do that.
Homes? I wonder who used to live here.
So there will be occasional observations that Sonic makes, but I have no idea where they're supposed to trigger, and sometimes you'll get some neat little like dialogue as well.
I'll say real quick, the ones that you're thinking of, the character-specific ones, those are ones that Sonic can kind of trigger at random, and there's this weird thing with them. I think you can toggle it in the menus, but apparently some observations he'll only say if he's, like, stationary.
Yeah, I'll admit, like, throughout the 2 times I actually went and cleared this game, there's some that are, you know, like the super obvious ones that you can find, but like character specific ones I never did get.
Dang. Whoa, hold on there, Jethro.
Hold on there, Death Row! We got some treasure to unbury.
Hey, free key.
And there's a
Hold it there, Buster.
Also, be mindful. Oh,
Well,
I think you may have just lost that.
I've had that happen too.
I think you may have lost that there, Keybuster.
did I move too fast? Do I not get the key? I mean, no, it's still.
You still
canon.
got it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I guess maybe they changed it between updates where now they say like the auto save is a little more generous now. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, you're near a Chaos
Very
Emerald
nice.
Vault. I'd say probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and take care of that next.
Okay. As soon as I get... Oh, I didn't even know that was an optional challenge. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Oops.
hello, the king of the Koco. Except not really. We'll meet him later.
Oh my god, don't remind me.
Much later.
Alright, let's go get the next one. So, oh my gosh, trying to come up with new things to talk about, because, I mean, there will be so... I mean, this is going to be a very casual shoot-the-shit kind of thing, honestly. Because of the, the format of this.
I mean, yeah, no, we totally front-loaded you guys with, the beat, like, what all we really think of the game and, like, what all it does, what it doesn't do, what it could strive to do in a future game, etc., etc. But maybe now it's time to actually, get on along with that story and, yeah, talk about how
Alright.
Sonic's suddenly fighting something straight out of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Ooh.
Oh my god. You say that, I was also... for some reason, I was also thinking of freaking Nier Automata.
That too. I mean, you know what? I was hoping to do a Shadow of the Colossus type of knockoff with Donkey Kong, but Sonic would honestly be a nice one too.
Well, I mean, nothing says
I mean,
DK
here
still
we are.
can't do it.
Totally. I mean, considering his athleticism, it'd be perfect.
So, meet the Titans.
They're
this first
big,
one-
they're mean, and this one's got a lot of teeth.
Amy trapped.
This is a Is this Higanto?
Yes, this is Giganto.
And hey, it's that weird
Girl?
Bratz doll. Oh, that's the best. That's the best
That's
I can come up with on
Logan,
such a-
Logan, you're-
Logan, that's
was about to say-
mean.
That's a very wrong assumption. Her lips aren't poofy enough to be a brat stall.
Where'd you come from?
True. I thought you were going to say that was a very dated insult too.
Well, I mean,
I
not
mean, she
really
totally
dated
looks-
because they're still around technically.
She probably would. She does look like she'd be modeled after one of those, like, really high-profile, like, Barbie-esque dolls they sell in Japan.
And
could
she
be
can control
Skipper.
Titans.
Well, yes and no. More on that later. All she can do now is, turn their aggression towards a certain target. In this case, our lovable Blur Sonic.
Oh my lord!
Whee!
Oh,
I like Asteroid Coaster.
okay. This
I
is
was,
something.
I was honestly thinking the same thing.
No, you don't.
That right there is probably another thing I'm not the biggest fan of in Sonic Frontiers. And I hope that gets removed in a future game. Like, obviously,
I
you
never had that cutscene.
Like, you can, well, because he failed. Basically, while you're in midair, like, obviously you can use the square button to keep on homing attacking, but say if there's no target on sight, like, Sonic will just, flail his fists around for no goddamn reason, and he'll lose all momentum doing so.
Yeah, if I could swap out that for an air dash, that's alright.
Gotcha, you little blue flea.
And he
Comes the wind-up and the pitch! And touchdown!
That was the wrong sport.
Fucking figurine.
Ouch.
Yeah, he threw him like one of those really cheap-ass figurines you get at a Target store.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, man. Wipeout. But yeah, I mean, now we know those things are a little too tough even for Sonic.
The traditional way. I'm gonna need the Chaos Emeralds.
Thinking about it now, this is a Sonic that just, like, not that long ago, like, okay, maybe not that long ago, more like 10 years ago, plus, he, like, without even the use of the Chaos Emeralds, he was able to take out perfect chaos, and now we got Giganto here, who literally just threw him on the wall like an egg.
Classic
Yeah.
Sonic without any chaos emeralds could take out Chaos Zero.
Yeah,
Even though that was a dumb, plot thing.
he was a dummy.
He was
I
a
was-
dummy. A
I was
digital
gonna say
dummy.
another example.
Logan?
No.
Connection chain.
Pay attention to the damn signs, dude.
I don't look at the signs. I see shiny. I want to spin.
Where's that paying attention?
I am Sonic. Look at me roll.
No.
They see me rolling. They
You know, fuck
hating.
I
Hey,
thought-
look
You
at
know,
no.
fuck this. I'm booting up my game so I can play the Rayman mod. Fuck this.
Aww. Hey, look, another Amy cutscene.
I mean, yeah, go true to form. It's a Sonic game. It was likely the modding scene was going to touch it sooner or later. And I mean, Frontiers, it's still got a ways to go in that department. But I mean, they're able to make new character mods, for lack of a better word.
It's pretty decent. And,
Yep.
Oh, what did you found here, Amy?
Who's your friend?
Who's your friend?
A pricky rock friend who's got her own troubles.
Was that?
Because it also be said, the Koco are absolutely adorable.
They are.
This Koco says they need to find their one true love before it's too late. They've been too shy to express their feelings, but if they don't do it now, they may never get the chance.
Well, now.
You got all that, huh?
I understand the look of it.
I feel like the dimension I'm in is translating for me. It's strange, but feels natural.
Well, we always had a knack for weird insights. Who am I to argue?
Yeah, this game leans heavily in on the fact that Amy is still, as always, very superstitious and tarot card heavy.
I would think
Right.
we got
Well, to be fair, the tarot card thing doesn't really get as heavy until the third DLC update.
True. Oh, I can already talk to Amy again. Where is
Yep.
she?
No, like if you've been very busy with your like token and gear collecting, key collecting, whatnot, like you can. It honestly doesn't take too long to clear out these story beats.
But I think there's been enough. Let me go
But you
back to the
passed it.
cyberspace level. I know, but I haven't done the cyberspace level yet.
Okay.
In a hot minute, anyway. So yeah, that's fair.
Pop it in.
That little
No,
bit in there.
Look at my foot.
Aw.
I may try. I mean, the goal would be nice to attempt to do all of these like in one session per each world. But some of these open zones will get pretty vast.
I would definitely say for certain the third one we might. I don't know if you even maybe the second. I'd definitely say the third one might take more than one session, but I could be wrong. Also, we'll say Logan, I think
Probably
it's
the third one.
You don't have to keep on doing those training loading seminars if you want to. You can disable those in the pause menu.
Thank you. I was waiting when I could turn those off.
Yep, training while we were waiting for the game to load, which something else that they're taking from some of their like. I guess it is kind of funny in retrospect thinking about it, like how this game, in a very indirect sense, is taking some of its cues from another beloved Sega brand.
Oh.
Yeah, Bayonetta.
Oh, right.
And the fact that you can actually, like you can on the loading screens, you can actually, train Sonic to do these magnificent feats for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, we're not going to be needing to worry about that too often.
Also, look at the load of this: Green Hill Zone and Green Hill Zone.
My favorite.
Man, it's been generations since I last played this level.
God dang it. We'll say, like, so what do you think of the music of this game?
I mean, I don't got a problem with it. I mean, there's definitely some things that don't quite stick to me as much as others, but I mean, I can think of maybe a handful of cyberspace levels that I'll still listen to every now and again. Like, I think there was one called Walking in the Blue that you experienced during your time at Ares Island. And then later on, there's this one that pretty much is like the no pain, no gain one. Like, those are the ones I really like. But otherwise, I'd definitely say the better tracks are mostly found outside of the cyberspace challenges.
I think I'll leave this one. I think I'm okay with this one. I got
Yeah, I'd say that's not too bad.
Red ring. I mean, if I can go for all red rings, I will. But the red rings sometimes it can get a little hunting and pecking for them all. So
Honestly, it's
They
funny
can be a
because
little tricky.
like sometimes they get well hidden, other times they're literally along the pathway. Like you can't you'd have to miss them on purpose.
right, and if you go and like try every alternate route, the levels, as you've seen, the levels aren't The levels aren't particularly vast. Not until we get to some of the unleashed ones, but
They'll say you have
Some-
been very gung ho with your key collecting. Like you can actually unlock multiple Chaos Emerald vaults at once.
Yep, we saw that earlier.
Yeah, you can. With some of the red ring challenges in later levels, they can, depending on the levels, they do require doing another playthrough if you're already finished with one. It's fine in itself, but it's a bit tedious in my opinion.
Yep.
Depending.
Yeah, it can be. Again, I just hope that, if ever there does come a point where they're making their next big game after this, that they have a little bit more room to breathe and, try to polish things out to the best they can.
Yep.
I hope so.
Here's that one. I'll talk to you in a second.
I was about to say, yeah, no, Amy's literally right next to it. Like, actually, that is one other thing the game does, is that, there's some times where you'll come across them, you need to talk to them to progress the plot. Other times you can just talk to them, and they'll just give you... It's mostly,
Flavor text.
Flavor text, yeah. You'll definitely know if it's an important one if you check your map and notice that the icon representing the character is either grayed out or fully colored.
Right. Which... No, oh, actually, it looks like there's a Sage interaction over there. We'll talk
Yep,
to her
but
in
do
a
you
bit.
but do you have the token? Do you have the tokens to spare for it?
That should be fine. I've been finding a butt ton of these so far.
Yeah, honestly, you can find a good handful of these without even trying sometimes. Like, honestly, it almost makes, like, some, like, the smaller challenges where you can only get, like, one of them, like, the ones that are, like, found all, like, out in the sky, kind of, needless.
An unoptimized amount of wasted time. And, worst case scenario, you could always go fishing.
That too. That too. Honestly,
That's what I did.
I don't know if they changed it at all since the updates, but, like, when the game initially came out, many people will argue, and still probably argue to this day, that most of this game's, like, major MacGuffins or whatever you need to collect, you can pretty much just fish out from Big Spot.
There have been, I think, whole speed runs. I think there have been whole challenge runs where they literally did as much fishing as they possibly could.
Yeah, I guess there is also the matter of, finding the damn thing in the first place, because, Big's fishing spots, there can usually be, like, one or two portals that lead to them in an island. And I mean, they can be pretty well hidden if you're not being too attentive. Like, I was only able to like on my first playthrough, I think I was only able to find I was only able to find one in this island, and then the next one I didn't find until I want to say either. Actually, yeah, I think the last one I was able to find was literally on the very last island.
Oh wow.
And by that point, it's like that's the point where they just spoon feed you everything.
They are. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna. Yeah, sometimes when she's that small, sometimes you're gonna need the map to find everything.
Yeah,
It helps a ton.
Honestly, this game would definitely be a lot harder without that there map. Even if it is, something you still need to build up over time.
Yeah. All right, tell me your secrets.
Tell me your sagely advice.
Oh, ye who tried to kill me.
Show up everywhere. I don't think we were ever properly
There is honestly something funny about how even this early on, like, you just can casually have a conversation with this this white-haired bitch that's trying to, do everything in her power to stop you.
Oh, so you're a fan, but I don't know anything about you, Miss.
I will not share personal information with an enemy.
Why are we enemies?
Sassy kid.
Yeah, very sassy kid, though. I guess skipping a few pages ahead, she's definitely one of the best parts of this game's plot.
Ooh, yes. And I'm very curious.
Agreed.
And especially thanks to one fan game, which is another one we will do at some point later.
Fan game? You mean officially licensed fan game?
Officially licensed fan game, even though it's not a fan game, but you know what I mean. Thanks to one very unorthodox game, the fact
Which
that
we should probably cover this next April.
I think so. The fact that the fact that it has confirmed that they are going to continue using her, which I think is nice. Oh look, the Koco found its love.
I guess in a way, we'll just say it right now. Like, she's pretty much to this game as Shadow was to Sonic Adventure 2. And I'd say unlike Shadow, she has more open room to breathe going forward.
Yes.
Very much.
Like, they didn't put her in a situation where, like, having her return for other games would be kind of a detriment to her character.
What is wrong?
My babies!
Again.
That little bit of dialogue thing right there reminded me of that. I'm curious how that SA2 resynced mod is.
I mean, so far from what we've seen, it looks pretty... Oh, boy. So, this is...
Have fun.
Yeah, every once in a while, you're gonna have to play a little mini-game to progress the plot, and this one's honestly not the worst thing in the world. You just have to gather all the Koco, take them back to their mom. Only problem is that there are a bunch of little brats that'll sometimes drop bombs on you.
Yeah,
Literally.
just gotta do my best.
Why? Why do they want to drop bombs on
Because
me?
they're being playful. Maybe
Yeah.
a little too playful.
They are merry pranksters. Oh my lord!
Little shits.
During these minigame sequences, Sonic's
Nice.
Sonic's abilities are slightly limited too, which I can sort of understand why in some cases, but otherwise, yeah, these can
Do
reach
the
from
jazz!
Hey! They just had a Chaos Emerald
Fuck you,
right,
Shadow. We got the 4th Chaos Emerald.
but it's green.
The damn one, in fact.
What was that music mod somebody did for that on Twitter once, like with that cutscene? I could have sworn there was something that someone did. where they replaced that song with something else, and I could never unhear it.
Well,
I don't remember.
well, no matter. We're actually at a
I know there was like a Thomas the Tank Engine.
That was it.
Oh, Oh yeah, that one was fucking
Have you
good.
slept with my wife?
What?
Man, what a very awkward time to bring that up, considering this is a pretty pivotal bit of lore here we're experiencing.
What the?
Yep.
When a Koco has fulfilled their purpose, they can move on to the next life.
That symbol is and that symbol is something that I'll admit, like, there's hints at, but it almost never goes explained.
There's never a concrete answer to it. The most we know for certain is that it's pretty much where the Koco go when they fulfill their purpose.
Supposedly, we will be learning more about it in the second game, whenever they make it.
Supposedly.
Hopefully.
Sonic, they act like none of
Yeah.
it happened.
Do we even know what that was?
No.
No, but I got a sense of completion, comfort.
I got a sense of ragdoll.
Now let's keep moving. I want to wrap up our time here ASAP.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
You goddamn ragdoll.